Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube Business Academy podcast with your hosts, Ron and George. If you've got a regular 9 to 5 job or you run a small local business and you've been thinking, man, I should go online, then you're at the right place. We like to think of YouTube as digital real estate. Imagine it's like having a prime piece of land, but online. Today, we'll talk about how to grow on YouTube, how to get some help to make things simpler, and how to turn it into a solid business. For everyone out there wanting to get a foot into the online world, let's get it going. Ron, how about you kick us off with some of the updates on your side about the analytics and the revenue from your YouTube channel?
George, sorry to interrupt, but is your mic connected?
Oh,
Or is it on AirPods? Because I'm not sure if the quality is high.
the quality is fine. I can do it again.
Yeah, but I had a little bit of doubt because it felt like lower quality, but maybe it was
Okay, let's do it
like
again.
further away than normal.
Let's do it again.
Yeah, sorry to
Okay.
do it
No, no,
just to
no,
make
no
sure.
problem.
Yeah.
I'll make it better this time.
Okay, okay.
All right, three, two, one. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the YouTube Business Academy podcast with your hosts, Ron and George. If you've got a regular 9 to 5 job or you run a small local business and you've been thinking, man, I should be online, then you're in the right spot. We like to think of YouTube as digital real estate. Imagine it's like having a prime piece of land, but online. Today, we'll talk about how to grow on YouTube, how to get some help to make things simpler, and how to turn it into a solid online business. For everyone out there wanting to get a foot into the online world, let's get it going. Ron, how are you today, man?
Yes, I'm doing great actually. Great introduction. We changed it up a little bit for like the frequent listeners. Yeah, overall good. YouTube is going well. Revenue is going up compared to previous month, around 20 to 25%. So I'm still on track, like with the 700 to 900 increase every single month. So that's
Mm-hmm.
going nice. Yeah, and I hired some new freelancers. One is very good, one is not so good, but that's like part of the game. So
Right.
overall, I'm really happy how it's going. How about you?
Yeah, man, everything is good on this end here as well. I'm grinding, working, making those videos. My freelancers are making videos as well. So overall, things are looking pretty solid and healthy. And yeah, I'm very excited for the future because that compound interest with the digital real estate is real.
Yeah,
Is real.
exactly.
And by the way, let's address the elephant in the room. Okay, so you and I would talk about now digital real estate. Okay,
Yeah.
so could you elaborate, please, a little bit for me and for the listeners and for the viewers? What exactly do we mean when we say digital real estate?
Yeah, sure. Like everybody knows like what real estate is in like the offline world. It
Yeah.
basically means you purchase a home, get a mortgage on it or not, like depends on your how much cash you have. You get people in there to rent it from you, and you have like no other costs basically because you purchase the home or you have the mortgage cost, of course. People rent from you, you get the rent as an income, and you basically don't need to do anything else because the people want to live in your home, so they pay you. That's like the offline way of doing real estate. But the online world is basically a world on its own, where and it's also a way to earn money from. And how you can see, like in terms of YouTube, like digital real estate, every video is basically a home. But instead of people living in a home, they watch your video, and the views on the video also generate you money. So like that's a little bit the difference, but also like the similarities. And since a home, once you've built it, it will stay there probably forever. Like that's my assumption. It's the same with YouTube videos. Once you've published a YouTube video, and actually a good YouTube video, like with good quality, people will keep watching it for years to come. So the video will also generate you money for years to come, and you can generate passive income basically once you've posted that video. So that's a little bit what it means.
Yeah, 100%. And what I would add to that as well is, because the online world has its own nuances. So, you know, if you make a video that no one wants to watch, right, then that real estate doesn't really work. But imagine it's kind of like a Broadway or like a high street, right? And then you place a shop there, okay, on that high street or on that
Yeah.
Broadway instead of opening it up in some small town when there's no people or anything like that. So what you're getting is you're getting consistent traffic of people, right? Every day people walk on that high street or on that Broadway, right? And some of them are going to walk into your store, right, and buy from your store, right? So you're going to generate income. And so the same thing applies online. If you know, and this is what, by the way, we talk about here in the podcast, if you know how to create this digital real estate, aka YouTube videos, and place them in the right place, right? You are going to start getting that consistent traffic of people visiting your video. And every time they visit your video, you are going to make money. And this is basically the trick, right? And
Yeah.
it's, unlike in the offline world, placing your video on the high street where people are always walking, right? Kind of the analogy here is where people are walking, that's people searching for something, right? So
Yeah.
let's say someone is searching for I don't know, whatever it is, right? The examples are like how to delete your Instagram account or something like that. And if you make that and it goes up in the search ranks, it indexes, right? That's the technical term for it. Then over a sudden, your shop on a high street has opened up, and every time people search for that, they're going to click on your video and you're going to make money. So that's why we refer to it as digital real estate, because once you have your video indexed for a specific search term, that's it. You're pretty much
Yeah.
golden. It becomes like a golden goose that keeps laying you golden eggs every single minute
Yeah.
of the day.
Well, that's the thing. And if you have like a shop, for example, if we do the shop comparison, and if your shop doesn't look appealing or doesn't look nice, it doesn't attract people. So that's also like the presentation of your video. If it
Of
doesn't
course.
look good, people won't watch it. And also the same can count with like rental homes. Like if you have a house in your like a real estate portfolio, you have
Mm-hmm.
a house in there that's like leaking, has no windows, it's
Yeah.
basically an ugly house, no functional house. People won't want to live in there. It's the
Yeah.
same when your video quality sucks. Nobody wants to see the video, and so both won't give you income because nobody wants to see the video or wants to live in your house. So that's like the comparison, and I think since like at least in my country, real estate prices are going crazy, and you need a huge deposit, or like at least for business, like commercial mortgages, you need a 20% deposit here in the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
Like you at least need like 50K at least to buy like a
Yeah.
decent object in a good location. So the barrier to entry is pretty high for actual real estate, considering also like the interest rates going up like crazy. Like the earnings you can get from it like are decreasing. While
Mm-hmm.
like with YouTube, you can start for as little as $3 per video. So the barrier is really low, and it's much less headache because you don't need to go to a bank, you don't need to buy a house. Like it's basically you record a video, and with a click on a button, your video is online. So
Yeah.
no barriers almost. So
Yeah.
I think it's really a revolutionary way of looking at like real estate, and especially if you can do it at scale, because as you mentioned, it will compound over time. So
Yeah.
in the beginning, it maybe feels slow. Like it's the same with like compound interest. It feels slow, and over time, like 6 months in, 12 months in, it's like compounding like crazy. Like that.
Yeah.
That's why I'm also increasing every month between $700 to $1,000 each month, because it compounds over time. So
Yeah.
that's also the power of it.
Yeah, and like, if you take, there's this famous analogy that not analogy, but this famous example that if you Google Warren Buffett's net worth, you can see that for the first like 50 years of his life, I mean, obviously he was a multi, millionaire, but for the first 40, 50 years of his life, it was increasing very slow. And then the last 10 to 20 years, it started going like whoop, like that,
Yeah,
exponentially up
like a hockey
because
stick. Yeah,
this is the compound interest, compound effect. And who was it? I think it was Einstein that he said that, compound effect or compound interest is the eighth wonder of the world. Those who understand it are going to get rich. Those who are not are going to forever stay poor. And that's why I urge everyone to, there's a book about it. I think it's called like the compound interest or the compound effect, the compound effects. I encourage everyone to listening to read that book and to really understand what is compound effect. Because if you don't understand it, I promise you, you're going to be poor forever. So,
I
yes.
agree. And they mostly use that analogy indeed with like the stock market. For
Yeah.
example, like the first 10 years actually like goes slow, like it feels slow, and then it goes like crazy. But with YouTube, it like we don't even need to wait 10 years. because
Yep.
those videos like compound like way quicker.
Yeah.
So there's also even a comparison to make like with YouTube videos with the stock market, because one video could be a stock that's giving you a dividend each single day. That's also a way to look at it. But yeah, I think it's very interesting. Yeah, like if you're not like, if you at least want to diversify your income in a stable and almost passive way with like guaranteed results, then like the way we are using YouTube, like with search traffic, that's really the way to go, if I'm honest.
Hey, quick interruption. Do you dream of escaping the 9 to 5 job and living a life of freedom? Well, if you are a regular listener, then you know that Ron and I, we're all about YouTube search, and it's given us the financial freedom to live life on our own terms. Now, if you're ready to take your YouTube game to the next level, we've got something special for you, a free training that can help you get there. So if you're serious about making money with YouTube search, then check out the free training by clicking the link down in the show notes or in the description of this video. Now, let's get back to the podcast. And I want to mention one thing, because, I've spoken to some of the people that listen to our podcast and, that watch this podcast. And, everybody who I've spoken to, they said, yeah, like maybe I have a business offline, or maybe I'm working like a corporate 9 to 5 job. And, I really want to be online because I understand the power of the digital era. And I really want to stress this, that being online right now is like a make or break it, basically. If you look at the top 10 richest people in the world, if you just like open up the Forbes list and you take a look at who are the richest people, I think 8 or 9 out of those 10 people have to do something with online. It's either SaaS or it's some kind of other online thing, right?
Or
Elon
real
Musk.
estate, by the way. I think there
Yeah.
are. Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's only Warren Buffett who's not, but even Warren Buffett he's the largest shareholder in Apple.
Yeah.
Berkshire Hathaway owns, I think,
And
close to
Coca-Cola.
10% of Apple.
That's crazy.
If you own 10% of Apple, that's a pretty bold bet.
Yeah.
And Apple, by the way, you might think, oh, they make their money from selling iPhones or technology. Nah. Apple makes their money with affiliate marketing, by the way. They make their money every time you purchase something through the App Store. Like if even you just purchase it in the app, or if you buy an app or
30
something like
cents,
that.
right? Like 1/3.
Yeah, 30 cents every time, or 30% or something like that, goes to Apple. And imagine how many millions of purchases happen every single day. So the real driver of revenue for Apple is affiliate marketing in a way. They're connecting users to the app developers, and they've created this ecosystem as well.
Yeah.
So
Same
the
with
point,
Amazon. Yeah.
yeah, same with Amazon, right? They have the user base,
AWS.
right? And
Yeah.
people can place their products in the Amazon warehouses, and they're doing that.
Yeah.
So
Also, but like Amazon is also like in the hosting. Like the biggest part of Amazon is like AWS. Is like half
AWS,
of the internet, like even more of the internet is like hosted on Amazon, their cloud services
yeah.
and that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So don't miss out and go online. You already know the power of being online, and you understand that all these people are online, and it's never too late. Like they say, the best time to plant a tree was 10 years ago, but the second
Yeah.
best time to do is now.
But I do have a question for you, because like right
Yeah.
now, like when you check Instagram, you don't even need to scroll that much. You have some guru preaching this online business model or that one. Like how can you identify like a real online money making opportunity? Like how would you identify it yourself?
That's a good question. How would I identify? So, I would start by doing some research, right? And I would really start by understanding the fundamentals of economy, business, and the different online business models available, right? Once you understand the fundamental components. So what I mean by that is, for example, you know how does the user go through the purchasing behavior? Where is the money on the internet, right? When I was doing e-commerce, I was asking myself this, because I had drop shipping stores, right? And I was asking myself always this question: why would anyone buy from my store when they can get the exact same thing on Amazon, cheaper, faster, better, more trustworthy, And it took me such a long time to understand that. And I was trying to kind of convince myself of all these different kind of value adds that I was trying to come up with. But it only clicked for me when I started going into the customization niche, that I was like, yeah, like if I customize, that's actually me adding value to someone's life. And understanding how to add value to a person's life is not easy, by the way, especially online.
Yeah.
So identifying a good business model online, um, yeah, I would really just start first by fundamentals. What is it available? Like, okay, there's e-commerce, there's content creation, there is I don't know, affiliate marketing, whatever, right? But it also ties back to your personality type. Okay.
Yeah. I just wanted to say.
Very, very important, by the way, because for example, me myself, I recently did a personality test on Ty Lopez's website. It said that I'm a born marketer, right? And I feel that way. It took me 7 years to understand that I'm a born marketer. Like if I believe truly in an idea and we sit down and we just meet, like there's a very high chance that I will be able to convince you that that idea is something that you need to do as well. And it doesn't have to be just with like making money or online. It can be like, you know, whatever I truly believe. Like I truly believe everyone should be doing yoga because it's good for your health and you can
Yeah.
prolong your life. So then guess what? If I meet someone and they're like, yeah, I'm a gym bro, whatever, I can be like, man, trust me, you need to do yoga. And then I'll go into the
Yeah.
whole explanation. So
But
you
also
really need
because you
to,
know how it is. Like then it's
yeah,
easier to market. Like you know the benefits, you know what it gives you as your body and that kind of stuff.
exactly. So you need to understand your personality type first, and then you need to align that because some people are driven more by like dopamine, for example, right? They seek novelty, so they're better at expressing themselves. Like, and also, so you can add value by different things, right? You can synthesize information, you can talk, you can write, you can do many different things, right? So you need to understand what is it that you're really good at, right? I consider myself to be good at talking, so then I do that, and I
Yeah,
don't
I
consider
can notice by the way. And the listener as well. But that's
and
good.
I'm not that good with writing, so I don't write.
But you are withdrawing,
With
right? Yeah.
drawing, maybe,
Yeah.
yeah, because I'm more of a visual person, so I need to
Yeah.
like visualize everything first, and then I can talk it out. But writing text for me is like hard. Like I write the way I talk, like very short sentences, kind of like
Yeah.
like that.
But it's good. Like you need to write what fits you. I
What do
also
you
want to
think?
add. Yeah,
Wait,
I
wait, wait.
also
What
want
do
to.
you think?
Yeah, I want to add something to it
Yeah.
because there are many business models for sure. Like, of course, you need to outweigh every business model for yourself. Like, what are the benefits? What are the downsides? But first, what you need to do, in my opinion, is like, what kind of life do you want to live?
Mm.
So, because that's basically what the position I am in right now. Like before the whole YouTube game, I had my e-commerce store, and I always wished to be like an entrepreneur. And before my e-commerce company went pretty well. And before I knew it, I was like stuck in my warehouse because I needed a warehouse. I needed to make
Mm.
shipments every day and answer customer questions. And it was a success. But after a couple years, I was like, okay, this is not the life I want to live because I don't want to be in my warehouse the whole day and answering customer questions. And of course, you can outsource things or delegate things, but you still have to at least answer to the customers and send the inventory. So you're
Yeah.
still somehow responsible.
Yeah.
So I think before making a decision on what kind of business model you're going to go in, decide for yourself, okay, what do I want to do on a daily basis? Like, do I want to be in an office? Do I want to have do I want to have a warehouse, or do I want to have everything online and be completely location independent? Like then,
Hmm.
for example, Amazon FBA. Well, Amazon FBA can be done without a warehouse, but you at least need some storage maybe at your home place to get the returns, to
Yeah.
check your orders from your supplier and that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
then Amazon FBA, I won't do it. And like I think you just need to make a list for yourself. Like, okay, what does my dream day or dream life look like in terms of work and time? Like, what kind of time do you want to spend on working? What kind of time do you want maybe spend on traveling? Like, if you want to travel a lot, better pick a business that can that can also allows you basically to travel.
Yeah.
So I would like first check in with yourself instead of having the shiny object syndrome of like, oh, this is amazing, I go all in, and then after 6 months you're in, you're like, oh, this maybe not really suits my personality or the way I want to live life, you know?
Yeah, yeah. And I would add to the whole Amazon FBA conversation is that people don't realize how capital intensive
Yeah,
it is.
also.
it is like get ready to spend a lot of money if you're going to be doing Amazon FBA,
Yeah,
because the competition there is high.
yeah. The
So in
margins
order
are so little.
the margins are low, so you're basically just trying to grab, like, you're fighting for that, dollar or something. And not only that, if you're trying to fit into a niche on a specific, because you're basically also trying to rank for a specific keyword, right? So people can then
Yeah,
search for it, find it, and buy your thing. Well, guess what? There are many more listings out there who have their products already ranked on that top results, and
with
they don't want to
capital.
go anywhere.
Yeah,
And so in
yeah.
order for you to climb to the top, you need to spend a lot of money on advertising in order to push your listing all the way up to the top.
Yeah, it's horrible. Like I've been selling now on Amazon for 4 years, like with my e-commerce brand. Tiny margins. You need to advertise because everybody's advertising. People from China can immediately list their products on Amazon as well. Like Amazon doesn't really care, so you're competing with like really cheap
Yeah.
all the competitors, which is basically difficult because customers always look at price. Like you can only ask like so much more.
Yeah.
So like sending stock to Amazon and then they've lost like 300 pieces and you need to contact them and you get like Indian support and the communication is horrible. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, don't start with Amazon FBA. Like 10 years ago, you had like the first mover benefit, but now it's really difficult to get in, especially if you don't know anything about branding because
Yeah.
to diversify, you really need a strong brand. So people
Mm.
are like have more confidence in your product. But if you don't even know what branding is, or like then just don't start with Amazon FBA.
Yeah, it's very capital intensive. A lot of it's a lot harder than people make it look online, I
Yeah,
promise. So, let me ask you this question. Let's talk a little bit about kind of the personal side of you as an entrepreneur, because oftentimes they say that the bottlenecks in your business are the bottlenecks of you, or the limitations that you have as an entrepreneur.
for sure.
So, with that idea in mind, how does someone set realistic goals and stay motivated while making money online?
Yeah, I think that's a very good question. Basically, because of social media, everyone's expectations are too high. Like those people that are selling courses and programs, like the course and programs are probably valuable. Like
They are.
otherwise they can't like sustain. So they are probably valuable, but they hook you in with certain results that are maybe not like achievable within like 2 months that they're claiming. Like they're always those typical gurus always claim like, oh, within 1 month you can do 10K a month. Like for like 99.9% of the people it's impossible. So but you're getting hooked by that like image. So having like real proper expectations I think is very important when starting out um, in a money making online niche basically, because you won't get demotivated so quickly. So maybe talk to other people starting in your niche, like, hey, what are your results the first couple of months, how did you operate? So at
Mhm.
least to have proper expectations, make sure to surround yourself with the right people that have already walked your path in a realistic way.
Yeah.
So then you can like adjust your expectations. And that way you can also stay motivated more easily. Because if you know like 10 other people, it took them 1 year to reach 10K a month, and you're
Yeah.
in your second month, you're like, okay, I made 500 euros this month. I'm still on track. I still made more than previous, like when I started, but I still can hit a 10K a month, like that kind of stuff, because
Yeah.
you've talked to other people. I think that's very really important to keep going. Like, yeah, not believe everything what's on social media, basically.
Yeah. And I would emphasize the importance of surrounding yourself with the right people. And when
Yeah,
I say with the right people, I mean people who are already doing what you want to do, but are further ahead than you are. Because us humans, we learn by something which is called osmosis. Okay. Osmosis, to make it simple for you, is imagine a newborn cow, right? I think they're called calves, right? Maybe, yeah. So imagine
I
like
have
a new.
tiny calves.
So imagine a newborn cow, right?
Yeah,
Mom doesn't sit the little cow at a table, right, and then open up a book and start to teach the cow how to be a cow. It doesn't do that. Instead, what it does, the cow is just always with the mother, and her knowledge and expertise about how to be a cow kind of rubs off shoulder to shoulder with the newborn, right? And that is the same analogy. Like, we are no different. Okay, yeah, we can talk, we have the consciousness, right? We have the prefrontal cortex, but 99% of our history as humans was spent in the hunter gatherer stage, right? So our the way we learn, the way we operate is still very primitive. So if
Yeah.
you want to learn some kind of a skill, which is, for example, making money online, going into creating content on YouTube, you need to somehow find a way to be with people who are already have gone the already have walked this thing, because
Yeah.
us as well, like, we know now a lot, and like we have a lot of experience, and we're like, making good money with YouTube. But we didn't get here just by ourselves. We
No, and
had
we're still learning
And
also.
we're still learning, of
Yeah.
course. Like, if we come across someone who is much better than us, we're always ears. But you need, like Ty says, mentors, because they will be able to save you so much time, energy, money, and efforts, and all of that, because they can just say, hey, you shouldn't do that because you're going to waste a lot of time, money, and energy.
Yeah.
Why I know that? Because I've done it for like a year. It's not worth it. Instead, you should go that way.
Yeah, like we
And
can
that,
talk about maybe the coaching call we did last week in the closed community.
yeah,
Like we had a coaching call like with one of our students in there, and he was basically just starting out. He didn't know much about YouTube yet. So first things first, get a channel basically, and make sure
yeah,
it's monetized, so you're able to earn money. That's like the first step. Like without a channel, you can't post videos, you can't make money.
yeah,
But he was like in his first coaching call already talking about affiliate marketing,
yeah,
keyword research, and like other things that are like way at the end spectrum, or not even at the end spectrum, but at least like a couple steps further
yeah,
for him. So he was basically having so much thinking already in his head of things that are not relevant yet. We basically need to tell them like, hey, focus on the first things first, get those small wins, like get the
yeah,
channel first, then second win, do the branding of your channel, third win, get a freelancer that can make like one video first, because what you said then as well was, I think, was really true. If you can make one video, you can also make 1,000. So that's
yes,
like a process. So also maybe link to the motivation side, like start small, step by
yeah,
step, and
yeah,
don't overthink too much. Because
yeah,
I don't know, for us it was like very obvious when he was like talking about, do I need to do this and how does this
yeah,
works, and he was like asking questions like in such a far stage. We were like,
yeah.
whoa, 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 you're going way too fast. But I think if
Yeah,
you don't have people saying that to you, you can get overwhelmed pretty easily, I think.
I agree. Being overwhelmed, I was overwhelmed for a very long time with so many things online. And now, if I look at my to-do list on a daily, it's so simple. It's like, sometimes I even think like, am I doing enough? But at the same time, my income is higher than ever, and I'm doing less things than ever, because now I just have more focus. I've eliminated all the things that don't matter at all, and I've created systems, and I've surrounded myself with people who help me focus only on my strengths. Like Peter Drucker says in his book Managing Oneself, it's right there as a tiny book. He says you can only operate from your strengths. So you need to identify what are your strengths, and you need to work on those. And being overwhelmed is so common. Like, I mean, if you guys are listening to this and you're just like thinking, okay, I'm going to start this new venture, of course, I understand that it's overwhelming, right? Oh, do I start with the channel? Do I start with this? Do I, well, all these things? But if you have like a person who kind of lays down the blueprint and tells you, hey, it's okay. Don't look at step number 2, 3, 4, 5, 10. Look at step one, and that's all you have to look at. So for the day, when you wake up and when you're dedicating your time towards your new venture, all you have to worry about is just completing step one. And it
Yeah,
just
but
makes
you
it
need to
so
know
much
what
better.
step one is. That's the thing also.
Exactly,
Yeah,
exactly,
yeah.
exactly. And it's not, by the way, it's not rocket science to know what step one is. It just depends on like what kind of business model you're doing. Um, but yeah, of course, like knowing what is step one. But that's when guidance comes into place. That's when you ask people who are further ahead of you and be like, hey,
Yeah.
what is step one?
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And like, I also have another question to you. Like, if you would be like in a 9 to 5 job again,
Right.
and you want to start like an extra side hustle, or you want additional income to eventually leave your job, like how would you like approach that? Like how would your schedule look like? Because like from 9 to 5 you're at the office,
Yeah.
you have some income from your job, but like let's say you have like $500 left each month,
Yeah.
and you work from 9 to 5 from Monday to Friday. Like how would
Yeah.
you make sure you get an additional income like the upcoming months or years?
Right. So I can talk from the perspective of if I'd be starting a YouTube channel, specifically going after the search model, the one what we kind of preach on this podcast, and this is what we do. So what I would do is first you need to get leverage. So if you're working a 9 to 5 job, I assume that you're tired, very tired every single day after work, and you don't have energy to do anything. That's the first thing. Second thing, I would review your habits. That's very important because the little habits that you have, I think it was the book, The Power of Habit by Charles Duhigg. He was talking about how, it's the little things. And I think it's also Atomic Habits, where he was like, as soon as you come home from work, right? What is the first thing that you do? Do you go, have a snack, sit on the couch and just enjoy? Or do you have your running shoes ready like by the door,
Yeah.
so you change right away, put on the running shoes, and that's the trigger for you to go out and run, for example. So what I would say is, I would say first you need leverage. So you need to have people who are going to help you create content, because if you are tired, you have very little time, you won't be able to. And having $500 per month is a very good start for you to start, investing that money into getting content, creating it. And if we're talking like, $3 to $5 per video, you can be getting like 100 to 120 videos published on your YouTube channel per month. That's about
Yeah.
4 videos per day. That's already incredible. Like, we have people we know who, you know, I mean, yeah, we know people who post like 30 videos per week, which is about 120 per month, and they're making like $5,000 to $6,000 per month. So
Yeah, it's
if
possible. Yeah.
if I'd be going about that, first I'd focus on the leverage. So the few hours, let's say for example that you want to kickstart this thing, right? So I would take the first couple of weekends. First, I'd invest into mentorship. Okay, that's the first thing I would do, right? And I'm not
But
biased.
how
That's the
for
first.
$500? Difficult.
No, I would need to tap into my savings, of course.
Oh, yeah, okay. You have
First,
savings. Let's assume you have savings.
of
Okay.
course.
Yeah.
First, because without mentorship, you're going to be doing this 10 times longer. I can guarantee.
That's the thing. It takes way longer.
Yeah.
But I must say, like, maybe there's some information on YouTube, but yeah, it will take longer. That's
Yeah,
the
it will
issue.
take much longer. You're going to be making all the silly mistakes that other people have done for you and that you can avoid, and it will save you so much. It's like an initial investment, but you'll be able to save so much more in the long run. So then I would take, like, if you can work on the weekends, okay, then you need to prioritize that. So then you prioritize, setting up your new venture. And the thing that you're going to be doing in the beginning are not forever. So first, I'd
So
invest my
cancel birthday
weekends.
parties, for
Okay,
example.
maybe you don't
Yeah, I
want to
don't know.
cancel
Like,
birthday.
how strict would you do it?
No,
If
I
you
don't. I don't like that whole rah guru talk of, don't go out with your
No,
friends.
I agree, but I do think like if you have a will, if you want to achieve something, it also takes sacrifices. That's what everything. Like
Sure.
when I often talk to friends or other people, they are like, "Oh, I want to have my own business and have my income through online so I can travel." And then you look at their weekly habits,
Yeah.
nothing resembles with what they want.
Sure. But it also is a balance. Everything in life is a balance. So if someone
Eventually,
tells,
on the long
yes,
term.
it's nothing is black or white. I promise you, you can't work 16 hours every day, all day
No,
without taking rest. You can't do that. Like, and there are certain things that you shouldn't sacrifice.
but if you do it, if you work like a little bit harder for the first month to kickstart this, I think
Sure.
that's reasonable because you don't know anything. You need to spend the hours to get to know your business model that you're picking.
Sure.
So just
If
go
it
for it, and yeah.
if it requires you not going to a couple of parties on the weekend, right, and staying sober, if that's what it takes, yeah, I say absolutely, because that's on the sacrifice list.
Yeah,
That's
but you
pretty
don't
low.
know before. You don't know if that sacrifice will give you the results. You don't know.
Oh,
That's
come
the thing.
on. That's so obvious. What do you
No,
choose to
no.
what
I
do you
mean,
choose to
like,
do on the weekend?
yeah. What I mean is like in the beginning, everything is very unsure. So it's
Right.
very like difficult to say no to a party, for example, because the thing you're doing, you're not so certain of.
Ah,
That's
okay.
what I
Yeah, yeah,
mean.
yeah, 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 yeah. I agree. I agree. I was also kind of mentioning, yes, I agree with that, but I was also mentioning in terms of like, you know, you don't want to sacrifice your child's birthday party,
No, no. It's
you
like
know?
it depends. Is it like a regular hangout that you do every week? That's what I mean. Like
Yeah,
then you
yeah.
can skip it. Like
And
not.
even hanging out with your friends, like I still encourage people to have balance. Like
Yeah, yeah, I agree.
maybe this weekend you don't go out and you stay in and you work, right? But maybe next weekend you want to take a small little break. But of course, I agree with you that if you're starting from complete zero, yeah, maybe you do need to sacrifice a little bit more. I mean,
Yeah.
looking back, I'm sure you too, like I sacrificed a lot,
Me too. Yeah, a
you
lot,
know?
like crazy, and like
Yeah.
those are like many hours people don't even know. And then they
Yeah.
see on Instagram like, oh, he made it. That's easy. And they
Yeah.
don't see those hours that you've been putting in, like when they were like doing other things. I think in the beginning, because you don't know which direction you're going, you're very insecure about is it
Yeah.
the right method, is it the right way I'm doing it.
Yeah.
Like then things can take more time. But like even then again, like if you have a mentor saying like in your specific niche, saying like, hey, you've taken the first step, that's correct. Second step, also
Mhm.
correct. It's exactly what I did. Then the insecurity will already be gone. So yeah, then the mentorship comes into place again.
And no one sees you waking up at 6 o'clock in the morning every morning. No one sees you going to the ice bath and sitting there and freezing
Depends if you
your.
have a girlfriend or or a boyfriend. But yeah, I agree. It's
No
at
one
the end what
sees
you
those
want.
things. No one sees you
Oh,
reading
so
in the
yeah, yeah,
evening. No one sees you doing this. No one's like, it's all the little things that no one sees you doing that actually matter. It's the things that you see on social media or, the kind of the fruit, the end results. Yeah, okay, it seems like, wow, he made it, now he has these things. But it's like, no, it's the
it's
things
not
that you
given.
don't see. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's not given. You need to earn. Everything in life needs to be earned, and it's fair.
Yeah, I think it's fair as well. But I think because of the whole social media generation, it's easy to forget for some people that like things actually take work a lot of times.
Mhm.
And still, like comparing the kind of work we do compared to the kind of work 100 years ago, it's still not hard work if you compare it with that.
Yeah.
So we're still in a luxury position, but it's like different. And especially if you can use like leverage.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The difference I would say about the work 100 years ago and the work now is that 100 years ago work was physical, right? And it was
Yeah.
very locality bound, right? So if you're born somewhere in, a little town in the UK, right? And there, everybody in your town works at a factory, right?
You
Then
know what you're going to do.
yeah,
Yeah.
you bet you're gonna go work in a factory, so that's the thing. And it was very physical labor, very monotonous as well with the industrial revolution, now. And that kind of that gave its own stresses. Nowadays, sure, you have the internet, sure, you have the computer, but that brings in its own set of very difficult mental challenges. There is a
Yeah.
saying that I think someone right before the internet blew up, he said that like before what information requires attention, right? So when information was low, attention was high. Now there is an abundance of
Opposite. Yeah.
information, but attention has gone like through the floor. I think that's the saying, maybe. But yeah, basically that's the thing. Like there's so much information, but our ability to dissect and find and research and listen to the right things, it's very hard. That's a skill in itself.
Yeah, I agree. It's becoming more and more difficult. By the way, the comparison you made with the factory, like if everybody around you in your town works at a factory, so you're also going to work at a factory. It's the same now. Like if all your friends or family are working a 9 to 5 job, you probably will never think about doing something else. So
Yeah.
again, I think having the right people around you is also like crucial. So maybe if you're like that's what I did in the beginning, like I really knew I wanted to make money online because I didn't know how yet, but I just wanted to make sure. And I like didn't like see so many people that were like in the nine to
Yeah.
five job mentality, because
Yeah.
it didn't like, it was not according my values, according my goals. So
Yeah.
that was also like maybe a sacrifice some people need to take, like surround you with the right people, and maybe like make some crucial changes if you want like your crucial change yourself. Like nothing comes by itself, basically.
Yeah. And if the only place that you can find those people is on the internet, that's fine. You can
Fine
do
too,
that
yeah.
too. Like you can form these parasocial relationships and listen to the people who are doing this. But still, even with that, I would still encourage you to try and either meet those people offline or find those people offline as well.
Yeah,
Like when I meet people, I'm like, what do you do? You know, and if it somehow aligns with the thing I do, which is very rare, then I try to like, keep in contact with them and stuff because it really changed my life when, like, recently for the past year, when I started connecting with more people from the YouTube space. Like, we've connected, and then Hessel, and then Yuri, and we started connecting, and we formed this like group of people, and then we all met up, and it's just great. Right now, this
yeah,
is my life, because
yeah,
I spend more time with you guys, I hang out more, we talk more, and this in itself boosts it, right? Because if you meet someone and you're trying to do this whole entrepreneurship online thing, and then the other person is not in that world, right? It's going to be very hard for you to bounce ideas back and forth, right? Because I can talk to you about, hey, RPMs, video creation, freelancers, blah, 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 entrepreneurship. And it's great, right? And because you're into that yourself as well. So then we kind of
go
drive,
deeper,
we,
yeah.
we, we have this energy, right? It creates us a lot of energy. If with some of my other friends, I can't do that because they're not interested
Same.
in that at all. They're interested in
Yeah,
something else, So yeah, it's very important to
which is
have
fine,
relationships.
by the way, but yeah, having those people around you is important.
Yes,
Yeah,
100%. And if you can find them offline, find them online and then bring them to the offline world as well.
exactly. Sounds like a plan.
Yes. All right. Well, I think this was a pretty interesting conversation, Ron.
I think so as well. A little bit of a different style than normal,
Yes.
but I think it's also exciting to talk about, at least for me. Yeah,
Yeah, for me too. All
awesome.
right. Well, thank you so much for your time and energy. And thank you guys so much for listening, watching, and subscribing. And we will see you in the next week's episode. Ciao.
Bye bye.